then the dark patches fall. I wade through an ocean, feet to knees in wet stand. The waves are strong and the hours are long, and it's then that I pretend that I love you. They have chains in their hands and whip me with them like I'm Gibson's Christ. And it is then that I pretend not that I'm not being beaten. No, that wouldn't do any good. It is then that I pretend that I love you. We eat oysters at the beach, and the warm breezes blow and catches your hair, so much hair, and your hair catches the light. And you squint, and I squint, and the oh so bright. But there was no beach, no breeze. And we don't eat oysters, not kosher. And you and I never squint. And I, on the inside, really don't love you. If we could only listen to ourselves and take back the words said. Live second lives off a computer that we could fix when we're dead. But I must remember, must surrender, dismember myself, saying I love you dearly every day, every day. I sit in a hole and gather darkness around me like a spider's webs weaving. And my pupils are wide as my eyes search for light. And what can that be but fallacy? Because it is fake. Like the vegan salami I favor. Like the fire that burns on the TV at Christmas time. And cold comfort it seems, but comfort it is. In a world that is so, you can break 1,000 eggs and never find a chicken. So after 500 omelets, your blood may thicken. And you climb the highest peak, there is no air, and you freeze up there, gasping in despair. And John Donne may not care about us at all, having lived his life of love. I pretend to extend my own life. I'll be fake just to make you smile when you walk in the room, as you do and I do when I see you. And who could say what love is anyway? Who makes the rules? Some brain prig wearing a shirt with ruffles, finishing his sentences in French? Peut-être, mon ami. And who are we to close doors that the world is crammed ajar? I sit on one of Jose's trains and watch the people sitting together, looking forward. And I jump off of the formed plastic seat, and polka music starts. And it's not really a train, it's a bendy bus. And the serious people are in front, and the back of the bus breaks off. And the people in love drive off. And those left on the back of the bus dance a polka, which I never did before with you. And everyone who's left on the bus. The woman in her business suit. The old lady in the babushka. The strange woman who talks too loud to herself. They all take off their clothes and we light them on fire. And we climb out the windows just before the bus explodes. And you ask me, do I? Do I? And I say yes every day. Because I have to. Because I need you. Because I don't know any better. Every cockroach lights a candle in August to Oppenheimer. Every crow and every murder prays for pestilence and war so life can be good again. I'll make a wreath of my deceptions and wear it around my neck. And every flower represents something I didn't mean. And its sweet smell will permeate the room. And its perfume will mask the shit that comes out of my mouth.
I was going to organize a huge human rights rally. And oh, it was going to be the greatest human rights rally in all of history. But I needed a web page, face space. Well, we had to tweet all about it. So I got out my smartphone to get started. But then it occurred to me that my smartphone had been assembled by 8-year-old Chinese children with bloody fingertips. So that put the kibosh on that, but I still had to do something to feel good about myself, because what can I say? I'm selfless. So I went to the soup kitchen. And I got a bowl of soup. And I pondered ways I could help people. Oh, it seemed to me that folks were in most dire need of 4 basic necessities. Those being spare change, cigarettes, crystal meth, and malt liquor. Oh, these are the things they're begging for in the streets anyway. So then, I had an epiphany. And I went to the bank and I withdrew 1,000 rolls of pennies. Then I used my Safeway Club card to rake in the savings on their entire stock of Steel Reserve. Then I drove all night in the rain to buy carton upon carton of tax-free cigarettes from the Native Americans. Then I called in a big favor from my Uncle Dano. The next day I was ready to get back to society. At dawn on the corner of O'Farrell and Leavenworth, I studded the streets with chunks of meth crystals and hid packs of mentholated cigarettes in the nooks and crooks and crannies, like they was Easter eggs. Then from the roof of a tall building, I set up what could only be described as a malt liquor water slide with an inflatable wading pool full of it at the bottom. Then they began to flock. The poor, the needy, the destitute, the toothless masses swarmed in like hungry locusts. And they fed on the treasures they found and bathed in beer like it was the fountain of youth. I watched in reverie as I cut little nicks in the penny rolls with a razor blade. Then I slid down the slide while bombarding them with my own handmade spare change grenades. Pow, 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 pow. Oh, they kicked and gouged like children grabbing up candies at parades. Then they lifted me to their shoulders like I was Robin Hood, and they my merry men. And their staph infections faded away, and their fingers unclubbed, and their boils melted like popsicles in the sun. Then their rags became 3-piece suits, and their bindles became Samsonite briefcases. And the doorways and overpasses morphed into multi-million-dollar mansions. And the fast food chains and donut shops became 3-star Michelin-rated restaurants. And the CEOs of major corporations threw themselves from top-story windows as the president abdicated his duties and money became nothing more than useless chits of paper. And all international borders were officially dissolved. And world peace was all there was. And that's when he appeared to me, descending down from the open heavens on a chariot of light, the cheerful bearded face of the man in the sky. None other than John Lennon. And he spoke to me. He said, "Hey man, can you spare a fag?" And I said, "Fuck it, Aunt Johnny."